Today I'm speaking with Nikia Phoenix, self-love advocate, Reiki master, meditation instructor, and model. We talk about her journey from rural South Carolina to modeling all over the world, and what happened when she discovered the expansion that comes from self-love and meditation. What have you been up to since I last saw you?
Girl.
A lot.
Yeah, it feels like my life has shifted every few weeks.
Wow, really?
Mm-hmm. I've had a lot of health issues, a lot of ego deaths.
Really?
Spiritual reset, like just
Wow.
full reset.
Yeah. Wow. And then so I ran into you about a year ago here in Atlanta.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
let's back it up. I want to
Okay.
tell the people how I know you actually.
Okay, I'm curious.
So we ran into each other. We met at Chateau Elan. Do you remember?
Oh my God.
That is how we met.
Oh my God, that's right.
Yes, in the spa.
Uh-huh.
So if people are not from Atlanta, Chateau Elan is this vineyard. They have a great spa there. Mm-hmm. I was there for my birthday. Were you there for your mom's birthday?
No, we were just like having a girls' getaway. Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
I love that. So I recognize you. I think we recognize each other, right? Mm-hmm. And I knew you as a model, like from campaigns.
Yeah.
You know, you're very striking. And I'm like, oh my God, I know this lady. And I'm always so nervous to say something, but I think we were in like the sauna. So I was like, oh, well, you gotta say something. You're going to keep seeing her around this place.
Right.
So we started chatting. I don't remember how, but we started chatting. And here we are.
And I had been following you for a while.
Amazing.
I mean, social media is such a very powerful community, and the way that things came together organically, like, early aughts or whatever. Mm-hmm. I mean, it really put us face to face kind of digitally with the people that we've always admired, the people that we've followed. So it was so refreshing being able to meet you in person.
Likewise.
It's like, oh my God.
That's so funny. Isn't it funny? Because I felt the same way. It's funny because I always complain about social media though, because there's pros and cons to everything in life.
This is true. Yeah.
But I do always complain about it. And then something like this happens where, like you said, you're able to connect with somebody that, you like. For me, I knew you from modeling campaigns, and then to see what you're up to now, like beyond modeling on social media, and you're into mindfulness, and we just have so much in common. It allows us to see another side of these people, whether it be, a model or an artist or an actor or your local banker, whatever it might be.
And it was so refreshing to hear that you had moved to Atlanta, because I feel like we might have gotten here around the same time.
Right.
And I was like,
from LA, right? You moved from LA?
Yeah.
That's right. Same as me.
And it's so funny because we didn't know each other in LA.
Nope. And then you can meet in Atlanta.
Right.
So, okay. So back up. Now we're going back.
Okay.
We're taking it back. How did you end up in LA? And you were there for a long time, right?
I was there for a very long time. I love LA.
You?
That will always be home to me. That feels more home than South Carolina, where I'm actually from. Yeah.
So why? Why does it feel so much like home? What do you love so much about it? And what took you there in the first place?
Okay.
That's a lot, sorry.
All right, yeah. Okay. Let's go back to 2005. Right? I had always known that I wanted to live in LA. It was like it just felt like a place that was calling me. And it felt so much more familiar than my actual home state. In South Carolina, I felt like such an outsider. It was just weird. Like, I didn't fit in. I had this like artsy vibe about me, and people were just like, "You're not from around here." And I'm like, actually, I am.
Yeah.
But I knew that, like, I tried New York. It got too cold.
I
went to Florida. There were hurricanes.
Yep.
And then I moved to LA, and I was like, oh,
wow,
this feels more like me.
And that was in 2005.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you go out there to model? What took you?
I didn't go out there to model, but I'd always wanted to model when I was younger.
Yeah.
And eventually, getting bagels one morning on Larchmont, ran into the owner of Alternative Apparel, which is actually, he's from Atlanta. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And he cast me for a campaign. Literally, vintage t-shirt, like baseball cap. I was like really low key that morning.
Wow. Wait, oh 05. I mean, I must have seen that.
It was
huge, huh?
Yeah, it was a pretty great campaign. It was
Wow.
beautiful.
I didn't even put together that that's what it was. You know, like I knew your face, but I'm not like saying exactly what it was. That's huge.
Yeah.
And you ran into him just like at a bagel shop.
Yeah.
Wow. And that was your first time modeling?
That was my first big campaign. Yeah.
Wow.
My first time like doing any professional modeling ever.
Wow.
That was it.
What was it like working for him?
Oh my gosh. It was really chill. I met some of the most awesome artists on that shoot.
Wow.
And they helped me really get my start in modeling and fashion. And it transformed my experience in life. I can say that.
What were you doing up to that point? You're already in LA.
Ooh. Okay. So
I'm nosy.
Yeah. Oh, girl, it's
I got to
fine.
know all the details. Sorry.
So when I went to college in South Carolina, I was a broadcast journalism major. And when I got out of school, I was a TV news producer for a 2-hour morning show. And news kicked my ass.
And I'm assuming that's really early in the morning.
Yeah. I mean, my schedule was like 11:30 p.m. at night until around like 8 in the morning.
Oh, I thought it would be like
5
a.m. Because I know it's early. So you're there overnight preparing?
It was just me and Master Control that were at the station overnight.
And how long did you do that?
I think I might have lasted for a year and some change at that job, and then 8 months tops at my next job in Florida.
Oh.
Because we got a really bad hurricane season, and I was like, news isn't my life.
Which city was that in Florida?
Sarasota, Florida.
Sarasota. Where's Sarasota?
It's just south of Tampa.
Oh, okay. So it's on the Gulf side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gulf
I'm
Coast.
sure I've been there.
It's the most beautiful beaches you will ever see in the U.S.
Yeah.
In the lower 48, as one of my friends from Alaska says.
So so then you go in to LA, and then you book this huge campaign. And then how did that translate to like did you get an agent after that?
It took me a while to get an agent. I was like, wait a minute, but I'm working.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, you don't want to represent me?
Interesting.
I'm working.
And that was like, were you trying to get agents in LA and New York, or is that
just,
like an LA thing?
I was just trying to get agents in LA at the time, and it had always been challenging for me to get representation in New York. I don't know, like even when I was a teenager, like, you know, when you're a kid and like you have these dreams of walking the runway or just, whatever, fashion. I remember going to New York for the summer, like vacation, and going to those open calls at like the big agencies and always getting rejected.
Oh
and I was like, are you kidding me? Like,
that sucks when you're a teenager.
Right.
Wow.
But I'm thankful that I didn't get signed to an agency then.
Okay.
I'm thankful that I went to college, that I took some time to like grow into myself before putting myself on display for like everybody to ridicule me, nitpick about this and that. So at 25, when I started modeling, it was like, I've got a pretty good sense of myself.
That's good. So you were already 25. Yeah, and I feel like that industry, especially, I don't know about LA. I'm assuming LA can't be too different. But like in New York, you are exposed at such a young age to so many horrible, horrible, horrible things.
Yes. Yeah.
Right now there's like all with the Epstein stuff. I'm obsessed. I'm trying to like not go too deep in it. Like I have a tendency I can be like totally uninterested in like the news cycle and what's happening.
Because it's a lot.
And you're not supposed to know everything.
No, you're not.
No,
you're not supposed to know everything.
And right, but now we're able to access everything. So I can be like, and of course I'm trying to focus on like my inner life, my family, my spirituality, my connection to source and all these things. But then there's sometimes these stories sneak in, and I just feel like I need to know as much as I can about this. And I was wondering, I was like asking myself, why? Like it doesn't affect my life, but to me, it does. Like, I think this story, this situation, and listen, by the time this podcast comes out, who knows what else will come out in that situation. But it is so, it's like, it helps illuminate how the world actually works.
There are predators everywhere.
Everywhere. And it helps, to me, it gives me a feeling of a little bit of control. Like I need to know, need to be careful. I need to know like what's behind closed doors in these industries that we're constantly celebrating.
Yeah, right. We put people up on a pedestal. We put these industries up on a pedestal, and it's like, that's not your God. That's not your idol.
Right.
We have to check ourselves.
Ugh, exactly.
Yeah.
It's really sad. But then there's like with you, so you were in that industry. Like, okay, I want to hear more about like what it was like at the beginning. Like, when did you get that agent? Because then, you know, our whole conversation is not going to be about modeling. There's far more to you than that. You're multifaceted, but I'm really curious about your trajectory and how you got to where you are now.
I'd say eventually by the end of 2005, I think I had an agent. And even that agency, and I'm not going to say the name of it. I mean, there were some things that happened in that agency that I was like, this doesn't rub me the right way. There were some wonderful people that I met, and then there were some other people that I was like, interesting. You're a little sketchy.
Yeah.
You know? So I think I moved from one agent to another agency, eventually got a commercial agent, which is what I really wanted, because modeling is can be so cutthroat, you know, but it's like, okay, what's LA really known for?
Right. Commercial.
Commercials.
For sure.
And so that eventually became the way that I really made my money.
Oh, yeah.
And
then they pay more.
Yeah, the pay was...
Yes.
The pay was great, yeah. It gave me opportunities that I otherwise would never have dreamed about having.
Like what? Like travel and
Traveling.
stuff?
Oh my gosh. I've been able to go to so many wonderful places because of my work. And it's opened me up to just different cultures and experiences. And I'm like, oh, I did all of that without having to like come out of my own pocket.
Right?
Somebody else was providing that
and
for
paying
me.
You.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like going to Berlin, going to Amsterdam, going to Sweden, like those are beautiful places. Milan. I mean, oh gosh. I could not, like a small town girl from South Carolina dreamed about doing things like that.
Wow.
But I never would have imagined that it would actually happen.
And it did. And like the fact that you were a little bit older, I would imagine you're, like you did say, you knew yourself a little bit more. Were there times during that where you felt like you were losing yourself? And, you know, because I'm assuming a lot of different temptations and so many different types of people.
Very many different types of people, a lot of temptations. But I'm very grounded in who I am. Even then. Even the times now that I'm like, what am I doing? What's happening? I'm like, oh, I know where I come from.
Yeah.
I know who cares about me. I know about Source. I know that I'm connected to Source. And I know that Source connects us all. So
yes. You knew that.
I knew that.
That's so impressive.
I knew that.
And you know, your whole aura, I feel that, you know, I can tell. So for people who don't know you, what you do now, you're doing like energy work and mindfulness and meditation. How did you get from there to here?
Right? It seems like such a what in the world?
Yes. But you were in LA, and I know, you know, in LA there's a lot of that.
Yeah, which is I think really beautiful and also like, you know, quirky about LA. There's a lot of different things that you can get into, and you're like,
it's a good word. They got a in the like I don't know if it's like off the top of my head, I'm thinking really LA more than the broader state of California, but it's like cult central.
Yes.
So it's super easy to get in a cult.
Yes.
Like I lived there.
Yes.
I mean, I think I kind of am the type of person who has cult. I could probably end up in a cult. I probably could.
Wait, do tell. I need.
It's because, okay, so I'm really, Broderick and I were talking about it the other day. Like, I was listening to Huberman Lab podcast. I don't know what the episode was about, but I remember him saying at one point that there's some studies that show that people who are able to really pay attention to their like third eye, this like pineal gland space, are apparently more easily hypnotized. And I have always been I've always had like this, there's two things. I feel grounded, and I feel like I've always had a connection to what I now consider source, right? God. But I haven't known what that is. And I'm typically easily swayed by story, right? So if I can listen, I'm a big reader, or I love podcasts and all sorts of things. I can listen to a really well laid out story or watch a movie and completely lose myself. And I'll have to, like, there's, that observer within me that has to be like, wake up, come back. Like,
is it that you're like falling down the rabbit hole of like research, like you want to know more?
I do that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then that's how I end up out of the cult.
Okay.
Because yes, I do
like,
research.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. That's my saving grace, because I go really deep. I'm not. So maybe I wouldn't be in a cult, because I'm not one to give up my power. Like, I'm one to need to know more. If you tell me a really incredible story, I'm going to be intrigued, and I'm going to probably want to know more, and I might end up like finding out stuff that disinterests me, and so maybe I couldn't be in a cult.
But no, I don't think you could. I think at some point in time you'd be like, this is really weird. No, I'm not doing this ritual. This feels a little like,
yes,
your senses,
voice,
your intuition would kick in and say,
kicking in.
No, girl, don't do it.
Right.
Don't do
You're
it.
right. But I think I would be that person who they would have to kick me out of the cult, because I would be asking too many questions. I would be like, like, what's going on? What's
up here?
Right.
What is this
You can
really?
hypnotize me, but what are you saying when you're hypnotizing me? Because I already know that I can easily be hypnotized, so I need to know up front.
Have you been hypnotized?
No. And I'm afraid, because I don't know what they be putting in my mind.
Oh, okay. I've been hypnotized.
Okay.
It was a very interesting experience.
Really?
Because your inhibitions are just, you're not going to do anything that you wouldn't like normally do, that you wouldn't think about doing. You're just, the things that keep you from just like fully expressing yourself, those things are dropped a little bit lower.
So it's more like, isn't it the subconscious? You're able to access that better. So, but when you did that, who was the hypnotist?
It was a good friend.
Okay.
It was a good friend.
Because can't they implant?
Yeah,
ideas
I'm sure.
into?
Yeah.
That would be my fear. I'd have to be a good friend.
Yeah.
So
someone that you trust.
Right.
Someone that's also going to, because they're holding space for you. They're not going to make you do like any crazy tricks or anything. Like it's not a sideshow. It's not that. Yeah. It's just like, okay, allow yourself to go down into these different levels so that you can open up and uncover some things that you may have buried. Because I buried some things.
Ooh.
I buried some things.
And you were able to address those.
Yeah, I was able to tap into some of those things.
But when you say buried, did you have any conscious?
Yeah, our minds protect us from like those really deep, hurtful, traumatic experiences. Yeah. Because if we were able to bring those things up every single day, oh my gosh, the anxiety would be next level.
Too much.
You'd be like, oh gosh, I can't trust this. I can't trust that. Like the sky's going to fall down on me.
Right.
So our minds protect us from those things. And we slowly start to compartmentalize and tuck those things away. So I tucked some things away that I did need to address eventually. And that particular session helped me address some of those things.
Because you were able to acknowledge them. In the addressing, though, were you able to address them then, or was it like, okay, now I know these are things to address, and I'm going to do it outside of this? Like, what's the timeline?
I was able to address those things then. Yeah, it was
let them go.
Well, not necessarily let them go, because that would definitely take way more sessions. But things that had happened, I was in an abusive relationship, and I tucked certain instances away to help me get on with my everyday life. I mean, I got out of the relationship, but it's like, oh, wait, those warning signs that I needed to help me see like, okay, stranger danger, this person has similar traits or something from my past is coming up in my current. But things weren't connecting, and I wasn't understanding why, because I had tucked those hurtful, traumatic things away.
Yeah.
That are supposed to be warning signs for me now.
Right, but you tucked them into...
I tucked them away.
Bringing them back is a way to even like age yourself going forward. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I met with I didn't meet with, but I recently went on a meditation retreat.
Ooh, how was it?
It was awesome. It was my first time doing that. And I went to the Art of Living in Boone, North Carolina.
Ooh.
Yeah. Way up in the mountains. It was gorgeous. But they did like an influencer thing. So they invited me. It wasn't like I was like, I need to go on a meditation retreat. They invited me. I went. I wanted to be open-minded. And I know I love, meditation and spirituality and yoga. But I met someone who is a hypnotist. And she and I spoke a lot. And she was encouraging of me to like, you should try it. We could work on such and such things. But I've been very closed to that. I've been like, okay, maybe. Actually, I got to text her back now that I'm saying this out loud. I totally forgot I need to respond to her message. But yeah, I've been like, I think it's difficult for me to trust other people. See, I couldn't be in a cult. It's difficult for me to trust other people with my mind, and even there's probably some fear around what could be, suppressed.
You talked about control earlier. Yes. You like to be in control.
I am yeah.
But what if it's not trusting somebody, like, blindly trusting? Maybe it's just putting trust in them for this one thing.
Ooh.
To allow you to open up.
Right.
It's just this one thing. You're putting trust in them for this one thing.
This one thing.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good point. I watch too many movies, TV shows, and books. This is a lot of my problem. It's like I saw on such and such TV show, but you're right.
Yeah.
I like that. And for you now, okay, tell us how you got into everything you're into.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. When I started, Black Girl Beautiful, Model Liberation, my previous blog, I feel like the subject that I kept coming back to was self-love and how do I get in touch with myself better. And when I started doing speaking engagements and talking to people, I realized that the way that I started those sessions was with meditation, because I needed to find a place to like calm myself, to set the stage.
Were you doing those meditations just for yourself or with the group?
With the group.
Oh.
I mean, with the group. So it's like, okay, I need to do this for myself, but while everybody's here, let's just go ahead and like drop into meditation. Why not? Like calm the room. Because it's so difficult walking into a place for me that's like loud and like, everybody's talking and lights and all of that. No, I want to be able to set the room, set the tone. So I would start off with meditation.
How did you know about meditation? Like how did you get to that point to begin with?
I started meditating probably sometime in college. And I was like, this is nice. Yeah, I like this. Okay, this is good. Because my anxiety before then was like next level.
Really?
And so for years I was just very anxious. And I found that meditation helped calm me.
Yeah.
So, like even starting, even when I was modeling, there were times that I'd walk on set and I'm like, I just need a minute. And I would take that minute. I needed to, or longer, just because it grounds you. It gets you in touch with who you are. It gets you in touch with source, with spirit. Also gets you in touch with everyone else in the room. You just feel closer to one another and like united.
Yes. I'm really asking this question for anybody who might be listening who's like, I would like to do that. I need that. So how do you yourself step out, like you're saying, if you're going on set with modeling? You don't have 20 minutes probably to go and sit down and meditate. So what do you do? What did you do? What do you do to take a quick moment to...
Closing my eyes and breathing. Someone may be like, what is she doing? Because I've had that happen. Like, what is she doing? It's like, yeah, give me a moment.
Really, yeah.
And then you notice, it's like when someone's yelling and you start talking to them in this very soft tone.
And
They bring it down.
yes, yes,
Same thing with meditation.
yes.
When you're just like really quiet,
Yeah.
eyes closed, centered on self, everything around you just like
Ooh,
quiets.
such a good point.
Yeah.
And if you notice, like for people, I do recommend people try this, you know, because we often give our energy away, you know, and the most, like the person who is the least likely to think they're giving their energy away is often because we just go along with it, because most of us are unconscious. And so we just go along with, okay, now everyone's yelling, I'm yelling too.
Yeah.
But you're right. If you just give it a try, I think it's a really good, you know, experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Proof of concept, but you're right.
Yeah.
So just quick closing your eyes and breathing.
Breathing.
Yeah. Until you feel.
And I think you know.
Yeah.
You know when like everything feels level. You know when you feel more centered, when you feel calm. You know. You feel it. No one has to tell you. You know. Because you've tapped into what's innately within you. Not outside of you. What's innately within you.
Okay, I have to say this because I always am saying this, but it's so true and so important. There's so few things in life that we have control over, right? I always am like, the food you eat 3 times a day at least, let that be your guide. Let that be your start of taking control of your life because there's so few things. But more fundamental, way more fundamental than that is your breath and it's your awareness. You don't even need food. You know, I mean, you need food.
Yeah,
but
you need.
this is even more like fundamental to it. To just if you always are breathing. I interviewed a breathwork instructor, Casey, and she was talking about we're always breathing. Like if you're not breathing, you're dead.
Right.
So there you go. Take control of your breath, and it doesn't have to be hard. I love that.
It doesn't have to be hard, and there are so many people who grew up religious and were taught to pray, but the companion of prayer is meditation.
Yeah.
So you're speaking to spirit, you're speaking to source, speaking to self, but are you listening for the response?
So did you grow up religious? So okay, so this is you experienced that.
I don't. Let me back up. I don't think that I necessarily knew that I needed to meditate. Or that it was taught to me. No, I don't know. Actually, it wasn't. Meditation wasn't taught to me.
Right.
But a friend of mine said to me maybe about a decade ago that meditation is the companion to prayer.
Oh my God, you're right.
And it is in the Bible. It is in,
Is it?
It's in writings, but it's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's what this
listening
means.
for the response.
Yeah.
Wow. So how would somebody how would you recommend someone they are religious? Because I know so many people who are religious might think of meditation, energy work, yoga, hypnosis, all these things as being totally counter.
Right.
So but I see it as like you're saying being complementary. If you are religious and you do want to do meditation, like how, in your experience, what has it been like? Like, what is the response? Like, how do you know it's the response? Like,
I think it's different for every person.
Yeah.
Like there's this little church in, I think it's Studio City, California. And it's just literally just a little tiny brown church. And the doors are always unlocked to this church, always.
Wow.
So I remember coming back from like being out, with friends during the night or whatever. And I drive past this church and I'm like, okay, U-turn, stop. So I stop. I go in this church, and there's something about churches and mosques and spiritual places that like the reverence, you just, it calms me at least. So I stopped in this church and I put there's a little box where you can make donations. So I made an offering, and I just sat in the church. And at some point in time I got up. I was like, okay, I received what I needed to. And it was just that in that moment I was like, oh.
Wow.
That's also meditation.
That is. It just makes me think about how so often, when it comes to meditation, we're usually thinking about mindfulness. Most of us in today's world, when we're meditating, we are doing it mostly, I'm going to say most of us, but I don't know for a fact, but we're probably doing it because our lives are busy. We're stressed, we're anxious. We recognize, maybe we saw the ad for the Calm app, or, on the airplane, they have the Calm app now. And we recognize that this modality will help, sort of help us deal with the anxiety, right? Or turn it off for a minute. But there's definitely you don't really need the apps, right?
You don't, I mean, it's great. It's great to have them.
Yes.
It's wonderful.
They can be a great guide.
They're great guides. And I think that it helps you tap into what's already there. That's it.
Yes.
It just helps you tap into what's already there.
Yes. I think that's what I almost lost my train of thought for a second, but now I remember, now that you say that, because I was saying we are distracted. We're so distracted. And it's like, it's not about it's not creating a new space. It's about going to the space that's already there. Because everything else is a distraction.
Yeah. There's so many distractions.
So many. And even if before phones were a thing, now it's like times a billion.
Yeah.
But even before. Do you know Michael Singer?
I don't.
He wrote the book, The Untethered Soul.
Ooh, okay. I know this book.
Know that book. He's my favorite. I'm always talking about him. I love him so much. But he's like he's a spiritual teacher. And he talks about, he says, and this is not his quote, I cannot remember who the original person who he attributes it to, but he always says this quote, man minus mind equals God.
Ooh.
Yes. Right?
Oh, yeah.
It's about stripping away all this stuff that's on top. And in that book, The Untethered Soul, he talks about, like at the very beginning of the book, it opens with this sort of practice of I'm going to prove to you that you are not your mind. Recognize, he says, I think he says like, shout pig or something. Shout a word in your mind. Let's say hello. And you can hear yourself, right? You can whisper hello, you can say it in regular tone, or you can yell it all in your mind. Who is hearing? Who is the observing? Because there's something beyond. You're not the hello. And so that's what he teaches us, to recognize that we are not our minds.
Right.
Our minds are distracted, and they're going and they're saying all these things, and they're filling us with anxiety. And he also talks about how often does your mind tell you some BS? Right. And then one time you're going to actually be like, yeah, I know the right thing. But 99% of the time, it's just filling you with lies and like things that are not true.
Right.
But 1% of the time, you're going to be like, I know this is the right thing to do. So anyway, I just love his realness, that the way he separates the mind from the source, the reality.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Well, thank you. It's his thing, but
even your telling of it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
It resonates with me. I think because there's that, like, I remember being a kid, like being aware of, like, you don't know like what that awareness is, but being aware, like, right now I'm doing this thing.
Yeah.
Right now I'm showing off. I'm dancing. I'm trying to make my mom laugh, and I'm trying to do this thing. But I always had that, like, I'm watching this, me, in there. But where is this watch? Where am I watching it from? I never asked that question. So when I read his book and I, started listening to his podcast, I realized, oh yeah, there is something there that I can. It's behind. He talks about we're always looking forward, but not behind. So it's that's a good point.
Interesting.
So enough about me.
No, wait. I do have more questions.
Oh, okay.
What were you like as a little kid?
Oh, I was very quiet. I was very pensive. As a kid, I was raised with, I lived in the house with my mom and my grandma, right? And my dad, I was always, had a relationship with my dad, but I never lived with him. My parents were never married, and they split when I was a baby. I think it was like 2. But my family's kind of loud and very excitable and exciting. And I'm the only child in that group. And I think it was just like, you know, maybe it was just how I was born. I'm not sure, but I was always quiet and I was always watching. And I don't want to say I was insecure, because I don't remember feeling insecure, but I remember feeling like, you know, I wouldn't just say something.
Yeah.
They tell me now that I never talked, which
Really?
I don't remember
What?
that. I don't remember that, but they do, like, they're always like, oh, look at you now. But I think I was observing. I think I was watching and trying to learn about the world. And I remember having, like, I loved to perform and dance. So I remember performing and dancing for my family. And I remember, like, getting dressed, like putting on my grandmother's clothes and doing fashion shows.
Yes. Okay. This resonates with me. Yes.
Which is funny, though, because I don't remember not talking, because I remember doing all those things,
Right.
you know? But they're like, yeah, you are always so quiet. But I remember, like, that's what lit me up.
Yeah.
Right. And I went to school for acting because I wanted to always be in front of the camera, and, like, this is my thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I just probably didn't need to do it all the time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That resonates with me too, because my best friend and I would put on, you know, shows for her family. We'd dress up. We had our dance costumes and everything. And her little brother was the MC for our show.
So cute.
So we had so much fun doing that. And I loved performing.
Yes.
But I think that I know that I was that quiet child. I didn't necessarily want to speak up. It felt like the world around me was so loud.
That's how I felt.
Like, how could I?
Yes.
I couldn't compete with that.
Yes.
And I didn't want to.
Right.
I liked
that.
people watching.
Yes. Still.
Yeah. Still.
Oh. Yes. And also, I think for myself, and maybe you can relate, like, I feel like if I'm trying to compete with this and, like, always stay up on that level with them, they're teasing each other, right? They're constantly like tearing each other down. They're constantly, like, the dynamic isn't the type that I'm still interested. Like, I'm still not interested in that.
It doesn't feel natural for you. It doesn't feel comfortable.
No.
Yeah.
My daughter's like that, actually, too. And I see a lot of myself in her, because I'm like, yeah, I know exactly I think I know how you feel. I can, like, empathize.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's actually feeling that way, but it looks like, yeah, that's interesting. But it's also really important, I think. My family was so good. They were a little wacky, a little crazy, but they never tried to, because, you know, you can see, like, why are you always quiet?
Yeah.
You know, that's common. Yeah. They never were like that with me, which is maybe why I don't remember being very quiet. I remember being pensive and watching people, but the fact that they say I never talked, but they never were like, why are you never talking? You need to da-da-da-da-da. They were very supportive of me, of who I was and who I am. And I think that later, as I got older, I started recognizing, because here I'm watching everybody and, like, kind of watching myself, and it helped me figure out how I want to be. You know, they didn't tell me how I need to be.
Ooh,
they were great. They're
great.
crazy, but they're great. Sometimes crazy people, you know, it works out. They'd say they're crazy, so I'm not saying anything that I wouldn't tell them. You know, all families are, right?
Yeah, all families are.
Is your family crazy?
Yeah, my family's crazy. Yep. I'm sure that they'd be like, wait, us? What are you talking about?
Really?
Like, no. But yeah.
Yep. Do you have siblings?
I do. I have an older sister. She's 6 years older than me.
Oh, a lot older.
Yep. One of the jokes in the family is that the day that I was born, my parents were driving from Aiken to Augusta, Georgia, where I was born. And on the way, they stopped at my grandmother's house, my grandparents' house, to drop off my sister. And my sister says, like, they didn't slow the car down. They just, like, pushed me out and kept driving. But that's, you know, her kid brain, that's not how it happened. She was not abandoned on the side of the road. So
Find your way to grandma's.
Right, it wasn't that. That was not the case at all. But just
but she'd been alone for 6 years.
Right, for 6 years. She was like, it's just me in this house with these people. Yes, they give me all the things. And then comes...
Yeah.
She actually wanted an older brother, not a little sister. I don't know how that was going to work.
Yeah.
But
oh, well.
She got me.
That's so cute. Are you close?
It's interesting. I think like we ebb and flow
yes.
between like talking a lot and like, our lives are very different. Very different.
Is she in South Carolina?
She is.
Okay.
She is in South Carolina.
Wow. Yeah. It's amazing though how that goes. I understand. I'm the same with my siblings. So I'm my mom's only, but I have 2 half brothers. Mm-hmm. My dad was married when I was like 4 or 5 years old. And it kind of goes like that. Yeah. Like my brother has a daughter who is my daughter's best friend.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
And they're 3 years apart, so they're not like the exact same age. But because of that, I'm closer to my brother now. It's kind of like sometimes we're going through. I remember being in college and going through some similar stuff with him, and like being on the phone with him a lot more often. And then we stop. Mm-hmm. But I think it's so nice to have a sibling,
And it's interesting because like you share this DNA and you share the same experiences, but from very different perspectives. So like if my sister and I are talking about something and she's like, don't you remember blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I guess I had to be there because it was, and you start putting these, pieces of the puzzle together and you're like, wait, I like, this is coming back to me very differently than the story that you're telling.
Exactly.
It's like,
very different perspectives.
Yeah, very different perspectives.
Does she do meditation?
No, I don't think she does.
What does your family think about you?
Oh man, I'm
this alternative. Because it is, sadly, but this is alternative. Like meditating, not everybody does that.
I think that I know that I've been, the wild child, the free one, I'm going against the grain. I'm rejecting a lot of things. Like if something doesn't feel right to me, I'm gonna say something doesn't feel right. But the settings that I have from being a kid is just try to make it better. People pleaser. Manage everyone else's expectations and their emotions. But it's like, okay, I remember my early 20s going through my quarter life crisis a little bit early. Like deep depression, probably right after I graduated from college. And, I kept hearing the things that I'm supposed to do. You're supposed to be this. You're supposed to be this. You're supposed to like this. And I was like, something doesn't feel right. The frequency was off. It just wasn't matching up. The people pleaser in me was like, you should be okay with this. This is what you know. This is what everyone says you should like. And then me was like, this doesn't feel right.
Wow. How did you get through that?
Oh, gosh. It was ugly. It was definitely ugly. Antidepressants, therapy, which didn't seem to work at all. I don't know. I think eventually I was like, oh, I have to change my environment. Oh, I have to put these people that I love on mute so that I can hear my own voice.
Yeah. The antidepressants aren't going to do that.
This isn't going to, things just, weren't making sense to me. It's like, oh, because you're doing what's expected of you, not what you actually want to do. Right. You're not where you actually want to be. You want to be somewhere else. You want to be across the country in LA.
Yes.
You want to be in the sunny place that like embraces creativity and all of these things that you've been told your entire life are weird. You need to be somewhere where that's not weird at all. You're going to find community. So that's how I ended up in LA.
Well, okay. So you made that. That's a big jump though. You're in your early 20s and your family is on the other side of the country. Like, and then you're going through depression. Like, was it a realization? Like, how did that come through, especially if you were going through depression? I know sometimes it's difficult to hear that inner voice.
Yeah.
How were you able to, like, how did it come to you?
I mean, honestly, I think it was, I remember saying to my mother, and she's going to hate it that I'm saying all of this, or she's going to say she doesn't remember, because, you know, they do have selective memory. She was like, well, you should just pray about it. And I was like, well, I'm praying and God isn't answering me. Oh, that cut through her. So it was, that cut her, and it hurt. It really hurt. But I had to say it because at the time I was like, I don't think God's listening to me. I'm not hearing any response. I wasn't hearing any response because what's the companion to prayer?
Yes, exactly. Stillness.
Yeah, stillness, meditation. Like, my mind was racing, and I know God was like, I'm here.
Yes.
Why can't you?
You can't hear it.
I couldn't hear anything.
Wow.
And it was like, oh, I changed my environment, like, went against the grain, and was like, you know that if you get to this, you have to make this big change. You have to get to this place. It may not be the place, but you got to go somewhere else and start changing your frequency. And then you'll be able to hear again.
Wow.
Even as I'm saying this, because I've been going through, like I said, I've been going through ego deaths and all this stuff. I'm like, oh, this is what I've been trying. I kept telling a friend of mine, like, oh, where is that 20-something-year-old me that was so fearless? No, I had fear. I did. Like, I don't believe that you have to be fearless. No. That's ridiculous.
Right.
You're going to be afraid of things. You're going to have fear. And that's okay. I just, I kept saying, like, where is that fearless 20-something-year-old me that was like, I'm going to move across the country. I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to do. And it's like, oh, it's just it's going somewhere different and picking up a different frequency that just reminds you of the home within yourself.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful. I really can relate too. I think we have so similar. It reminds me when I was in my early 20s, I had graduated college, I moved to New York, and I wanted to become an actress. But then all of a sudden I didn't want to anymore. Somebody asked me, I can't remember when I was having this conversation, but so I wanted to become an actress, but I remember I was on my friend's podcast, and she asked me, because when I wanted to become an actress, even in high school, I remember thinking, when I'm an actress, I'm going to like do good work. I'm going to help people. And then she said, well, why did you feel like you needed to help people? Like, why did you need to qualify wanting to be an actress with helping people? And I was like, you know what? I don't know. I really don't know. And a couple weeks later, it came to me that I always felt like I need to have a purpose, not because like of necessarily some like higher, like altruistic reason, but I think my role, like in my upbringing, right? Everybody has a purpose. You got to do this.
Yeah.
I had to start working. I didn't have to. My mom made me. When I was 8, she had a cleaning service. But it always felt like you have to make your time here. Like you owe somebody in a way. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm like, you have to contribute in some way.
Yeah.
You can't just be like out here having a glamorous life being an actress,
right.
which, that's naive to think anyways,
right.
But you have to give back in a way, not just because you're going to be you're a great person, but because you have a debt to pay in a way. So that's not great. But anyway, I always had that. And when I decided to not become an actor, I went through a deep, deep, deep depression. I was in my early 20s also. I was living in New York. And my thing was I had an epiphany. Like, I don't remember where I was. I feel like I was like walking down the sidewalk from the subway to my job. And I had an epiphany. It was like I could hear a voice saying, I had just become vegan, by the way, like a week before that, saying, you need to do this vegan thing. it wasn't that clear. It was like, you need to do Sleep J Soul and da 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 da. But it was like, you need to do the vegan. Like the vegan thing is, this is your path forward. That's why I asked, like, how? Because it comes in different ways for different people, especially when you are in depression. You know, part of being depressed is being hopeless. And so if you're hopeless, it's very difficult to think that maybe there's going to be a voice inside of me that wants to come through.
Yeah.
It's hard to acknowledge that could even ever be a possibility because you're depressed.
Right.
And a lot of people are depressed. So, you know, I'm just saying this because, like, it can come from, I know it's hard, but it can come from in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not a voice. Sometimes it's someone else's voice outside you.
Right. But a voice that even if it's from a stranger,
Mm.
and a lot of times it is from a stranger, just somebody like, you know, that you're walking by on the street, or someone that you bump into at the grocery store or something, and they say one thing and you're like, and it wakes something up in you that had been dormant. Those are, you know, angels that are just there. You may never see them again. You may not know their name. You may not remember anything about them, but what they said and how it made you feel.
Yes.
That's,
Oh my goodness. So true. So true. So you're young, in your 20s, you head to LA, and look what happens. You become a model. You had been going to these open castings in New York.
And nothing happened.
Right?
And then I
you get a bagel.
I get a bagel, and then everything like, oh, well, this is interesting.
Right.
Huh. When I stopped trying so freaking hard and just let things be, look what happened.
That's a word.
Oh, snap. Okay.
What's it say in the Bible? The I don't know the Bible that well, but I know there's this scripture about, like, you know, the poppies and the flowers and everything grows. Everything is, you know, if God is going to provide for you, like those things. It's the truth.
And that's what happened.
I mean, you still had to probably do your basic stuff, like eat your food, drink your water,
Right.
but really.
I mean, sometimes it's just showing up.
Yes.
Like, even today, just showing up.
Yes.
Like, I was telling a friend of mine, like, oh, I want to get out of this, like, creative rut that I've been in. And it's like, oh, I should just say yes to some things.
Ooh.
Oh, that's right. Okay. This may feel like I haven't done a podcast in forever, right? Okay, this may feel a little weird, but just say yes.
Just say yes. Good point. So
Just
it can
say
come
yes.
from any, like, yeah. That's a good point. I think I'll see a lot of stuff these days, though, about saying no. Do you see
yeah.
that?
Yes.
So how it's like you got to balance it, and you got to really listen to yourself. That's where that meditation comes in, to know when.
Yeah, to know which voice,
Ooh.
right? Because that doubt is probably not your own. It's not your own voice. It's